Hey, everybody, welcome to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. I'm Mike Catalana. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It's time for my mock draft. We're getting ready for what's going to be an exciting time. We'll be out in Vegas. Dan Fates and I will be there. Jen will be back in the studio keeping things together for us as we get set for what the Bills are going to do. And we've been to the other drafts, back in 2017 when they got Trey White. That was the famous, Mahomes trade that they traded back. Ended up getting Trey, set themselves up for the next year. We're in Dallas with them when they get Josh Allen and Tremaine Edmonds. The next year it was Nashville. Fun place to be for the draft. It's Ed Oliver that they take early that year. It went virtual the next year. We know that. And then, of course, they had already made the deal for Steph Diggs, too, and didn't have a first-round pick. And then we move into last year where they get Greg Rousseau late in rainy Cleveland. So we'll be there in Vegas and seeing what happens. And this beginning of the draft is going to be one to really watch because normally, where those quarterbacks are slotted, they're going to go really early. And then certain players, no doubt guys, left tackles, pass rushers in the top. That's not the case this year. You all know it. You've seen the mock drafts. They're all over the map in the way this goes. So combine that with the fact that Brandon Beane says, and he says this most years, he doesn't have 32 first-round grades on players. So what do you do when you're 25th? Unless it plays exactly the way it is, and let's say he has 25 first-round draft picks and the 24 are picked before the Bills, what's he going to do? You think he's taking a player that he has a second-round grade on late in the first round? I don't think he's going to do that. He's been patient when he's needed to be. He's been aggressive when he's needed to be. And I think that's what we're going to see him do. Aggressive when needed to be. You guys have heard me say this. I'll say it again. The guy I want in this draft is Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame safety. I think he's the kind of player that could be your guy for 10 years forward. Yes, the whole Jordan Poyer thing has made safety more of an issue, maybe just in this coming season, because we don't know how it's going to map out. But let's also be honest, both of the safeties are in their 30s, and you try your best to draft before it's a glaring need. But that being said, I think it's a bit rich to go up and get Hamilton. As much as I'd like to see it, he'd have to slip pretty far. I don't think it's going to happen. I think maybe it's Washington, maybe even the Giants before that who decide to make the pick. So here's what I've got for the Bills. They're sitting there at 25. They are waiting. And there's a guy out there that I think they want. And I mentioned safety. And this guy can play safety. And he can get on the field playing in a form of corner in the slot. He is that kind of athlete. But in order to get up, I have the Bills making a deal. And they call Howie Roseman of the Eagles, who's already have made one of his first-round picks. He's had 3, traded that to 2, trying to beef up for next year and maybe look at the way this draft's going to lay out. I have the Bills sending their pick, 25, to the Eagles, number 19. In exchange, the Bills give Philly a third-round pick for this year, which is number 89, and then they give them that 130 pick that they have. Now, that's a bit rich there, and it takes the Bills out of a sweet spot of this draft, but I'll get back to that in a minute. So, again, the Bills send obviously their first pick, a third-rounder, and then the fourth-rounder, number 130, in exchange to get Dax Hill out of Michigan. And what I like about this guy is I think he's a long-term answer at safety for this team. I think he can play on the field week 1, even in a corner position, in a nickel position. I think he's going to be that kind of player. And the Bills need to figure out the whole thing with Poyer. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. It's dicey for Beane at the moment to try to figure out what Jordan Poyer is going to do. Not showing up at some, voluntary workouts early is one thing, but Beane's got a decision to make. Do you want to give Poyer another deal based on age? And I think he's going to protect himself with 2 safeties in their 30s. But I think he wants a player that can do a lot of things. And look, there's a lot of hyperbole at this time of year, but Hill has been described as speed to play corner, the ability to cover more like a safety, and the ability to hit like a linebacker. Now, that is some hyperbole. He's not a linebacker, but size-wise, he's exactly Jordan Poyer's size. 6 feet tall, 191 pounds. He can run. I don't think the Bills value safety speed that much. I don't. Neither Poyer or Hyde are that kind of guy. But the fact that this guy Hill has the speed to play corner, some say even on the outside if they need him there, I think is the type of pick they're going to make. And I would bet that Beane has a first round grade on him. So it's an aggressive move, but they move up to get Dax Hill. Now, moving forward, second round, 57. This is the spot I think they look for a wide receiver. And there are a lot in this draft. And you're going to see all these guys going early. And it's going to be bugging a lot of fans who want to see that other component to this offense come in the draft. I think they get it here. With the 57th pick, I have them taking Sky Moore out of Western Michigan. He's productive. I know it's Western Michigan. UB fans have seen him go up against the Bulls at that level of play. But the guy averaged 8 catches and 100 yards a game. Mel Kiper, you want to hear Mel Kiper? He believes that Moore is going to be the steal of the second round. Could he go earlier than this? Absolutely. But there are going to be high-quality wide receivers who fall in this draft, and I think Sky Moore is going to be that guy. He's a guy that was undersized, played quarterback in high school, was thought of to be more athlete than player, and has grown as a player, and I think he would be an outstanding fit. Can walk right in, learn from guys like Jamison Crowder in that slot, and get himself in the field in 4 or 5 wide receiver sets early. So Sky Moore, the guy with the cool name, goes to the Bills in the second round. Now, they've made that deal, right? The deal they moved in the first round to get. And they're sitting there watching the draft go by. And that's going to be the painful part of this draft in order for Bills fans to sit and watch. But they need to make an aggressive move, and I have Beane doing this later. Here's where he goes. He moves up to get Denver at 116. That pick, the Broncos had just made a pick at 115. They gave up a lot of assets in the deal to bring in Russell Wilson. They need extra picks. I have the Bills trading 168 and a 4th rounder next year. It's a little richer than the numbers would show, but again, we're pushing this back a year to the, again, more of the sweet spot of this draft. And I have the Bills taking Zion McCollum, the corner from Sam Houston State. And I would tell you this, based on what I have seen and read about McCollum, if he had played in a more high-profile program and certainly played against maybe higher levels of competition with his size and speed and coverability, I think he would go higher. I think that is the knock on him. Not sure how he matches up against more of the elite players. But I believe this guy would have played at a high level, even in the SEC. Athlete, size, speed. He has the ability to play man, the instincts to play in a zone. Again, it's the competition is the only thing. And look, he could go earlier than this. Nearly every pick we're talking about, these guys are talented. Somebody could take a flyer on them early. But I think Beane is aggressive to move back up in that sweet spot of the draft and get a corner. This team needs young corners. And this would be a big investment in the corner position. Certainly if they didn't go that way in the first round, which is always a possibility, to get someone at pick number 116, I think McCollum comes in right away and competes for that number 2 spot with Dane Jackson. And we see what other veteran they bring in. But I think he's the kind of guy they're going to love if the Bills get a chance to bring him in. Then to the rest of the draft. Again, now we're only talking about maybe picking 6 players unless you make another deal. A lot of fans have talked about, is this roster not deep enough that it's going to be hard for guys to make the roster? Yeah, that's always the case. But the more swings you take at it, the more chances you have of getting a player. In this case, I think it's going to be more quality over quantity. And I think that's what he's doing. So in round 6, the Bills have that pick at 185. I think they go for interior offensive line. If I just said to you, offensive line, Logan Bruss, 6'5", 309, you'd probably guess, where's he from? Iowa, Michigan, close enough, Wisconsin. All Big Ten tackle. He's really played tackle, but he's built for guard in the NFL. likes to play disc golf. There you go. There's your little tidbit of information on it. So I've got Logan Bruss going in the 6th round. And then they have another pick in the 6th round. And, you know, people have talked about drafting specialists. Obviously, it worked before with Tyler Bass. I've got him going with the Penn State punter, Jordan Stout here. Picking him, pick 203. This guy's a field goal kicker, been a long-range field goal kicker. On the Bills, he's not a field goal kicker. He's not a kickoff specialist. They need him to punt. He's an athlete who can punt. Again, could kick in a pinch if you needed it. Averaged 46 yards a kick, became proficient, 35 kicks inside the 20. Hey, you want to hear his voice? He's got a Cameo account. So go ahead and check that out. But again, I haven't really done much research on punters, but I think that's the kind of spot the Bills needing an upgrade based on what they had last year. I think they make a play for a punter and they get it there. Then in round number 7, now look, this is not the linebacker that I think could replace Tremaine Edmonds in a year, but it's the type of player that they love to pick. And his name is Darian Butler, linebacker, Arizona State, smart, tough. Look, he's undersized. He's not anything like Tremaine Edmonds physically. Doesn't have the height, doesn't have the wingspan, doesn't have the athletic ability. But I think you're looking for that backup player at the linebacker spot who can play special teams and can work his way into the lineup. And we've seen it before. Undrafted guys, higher draft picks. I mean, Matt Milano was picked in the 5th round. It doesn't guarantee that a guy can't be a starter. But when you get to the later rounds, you have your mind on what you believe this guy can be. And if he becomes a key backup and a special team contributor, high-end contributor, then I think that's the kind of pick the Bills want to make. So again, aggressive in the 1st round, getting Dax Hill, getting that wide receiver that I think fits into the room right away in Sky Moore, and getting Zion McCollum in the other pick when you move up to 116 would be the key to this draft. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you believe the Bills should go in a different order. A lot of you want wide receiver, round number 1. That's what Dan Fates wants. We know that. Want them to be more aggressive in round 1. That could be the case, depending on who falls. But this is what I have for right now. And I think that safety position, again, with the ability to get on the field right away, is going to be a key for the Bills. So, again, we'll be out in Vegas for this. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think. And we'll see you the next time here on the Buffalo Plus channel on YouTube.